everyone, thank you for clicking on today's video. Today I'm going to, I just realized my bed is not made. That's probably not the greatest background. Okay, take two. Hey everyone, thank you for clicking on today's video. Today I had the gumption to actually sit down and play with some makeup, so I thought I would do a get ready with me, talk about some stuff and all of that, kind of catch up with you guys. I haven't done sit down videos in a while. I really just don't have ideas anymore for sit down videos that, you know, don't cost money, if that makes sense. So if you guys ever have like ideas for that kind of stuff, then leave them down below. But for the most part, my channel is basically just has turned into like a vlogging channel almost, because I feel like that's all I post anymore. But today I've been really wanting to play with makeup. You know, I was just watching a Get Ready With Me by Bailey Sarian. By the way, I just recently started watching. She does like murder stories while she does makeup, so it's like the perfect channel basically for me. So yeah, so I want to play with some makeup, so let's go ahead and get started. So I'm gonna put up my hair. By the way, I'm a scrunchie person now. I used to never be into scrunchies, but I've learned that they're really kind of the best for my hair because my hair is really thick and naturally curly. And so it's so easy to just put it up and then also not get ponytail hair when I take it down. My face is feeling pretty greasy because I washed my face. Have I even washed my face today? I honestly don't know if I have or not. Maybe I should go wash my face. Okay. This is turning into a really bad Get Ready With Me. Be right back. Hopefully that was the last time I have to actually stop to do something because I forgot. As you can tell, I haven't done a Get Ready With Me in a while, so it's like, honestly, I don't even know the last time I put on makeup, like full on makeup. Like it has been probably since my last Get Ready With Me that I put makeup on. So I'm gonna try to get more in the center here. I'm trying to film in my bedroom just because now that we have it like semi-decorative in here, I feel like it kind of looks nice with the background and all that. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And also now we have our couch by the window that I used to film in front of, so it blocks out all the light. So this is actually now where I get the best lighting. So let me just take all of my stuff off my eyeshadow palette because that's how I carried it all in here. So I will be doing my eyes first just because I'm planning on doing like a crazy eye. Not really like super crazy, but colorful eye. So I am going to be using my Jaclyn Hill palette. This is the original Jaclyn Hill palette from Morphe. It's still a very pretty palette. And the look I'm like picturing in my mind is to do like some sort of like reddish pinkish crease. Like a corally crease, and then putting like this blue on the lid, like a very bright blue, but then have like, I don't know, just what I'm kind of going with right now. So I'm going to start by putting on some concealer while I tell you what exactly I want to talk about in this video. Now I can't find my sponge. Oh, it's on the floor. I'm really good at this. So I wanted to give kind of like an update on just our lives, what's been going on and all that, just because I do talk about a lot of stuff in our vlogs, but some people might not want vlogs, or if someone is maybe wondering something, they don't want to have to go and watch through a whole vlog just for the chance that I might talk about it. So that way, you know, I like to do these Get Ready With Me's. Yes, half the time I'm talking about stuff I already talk about, but that way if anyone ever asks, I can reference them to one video where they can kind of get all the information and all of that. So I wanted to talk about like our updates with the pandemic, but also like a full-fledged kind of true story time about my experience having COVID myself and all of that. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So I live in Maine, and our state started shutting down about the beginning of March, I want to say. And I'm saying that because I think towards the end of April was when they said, no, now we're going to shut it down for 30 more days. And then we didn't get into like the reopening of stuff until like May 1st. So that's when our kind of state of emergency and state shutdown kind of happened. We were pretty behind on a lot of stuff in terms of like getting cases and stuff. We were kind of like one of the last states to really get COVID cases. So we were pretty behind a lot of other states in the sense that like a lot of states were reopening right about the time that we were shutting down, because it didn't come to Maine until like later on. So we've been having a state shutdown since about March. We are now, our state, I'm pretty sure a lot of other states did this. I think Kristen kind of said something about her state, but our state did a stage reopening. Stage 1 was going to be like hair salons, I want to say restaurants still couldn't have dine-in service, but they could still do the takeout service and all of that. And a whole bunch of other like little things could reopen on May 1st. That was stage 1. Stage 2 was the party of 50 people or less, having restaurants be able to offer dine-in service as long as it's limited and reservation only, and you have to like give them your name and number in case like there's a COVID case that day from a customer that was there. They can call you with something, all of that. And then stage 3, which if I'm not mistaken we're about to go into July 1st, is even more reopenings. Like we used to have it that all of our stores had a limited number of people that could go in, so we were like waiting in Walmart lines and Target lines and all of that. Now Walmart is actually able to be open full capacity, and I believe Target can. I don't know about any other place. I think it depends on the size of the building, but yeah, we are in like a stage reopening. We're about to go into stage 3, and that one will actually continue for a while. Stage 4 is when basically there's going to be no restrictions, everything's back to normal, and that won't probably be until like the end of summer, but I could be wrong. So I'm going to be going in with like these neutral shades first to kind of start building up my crease here. So that's the state that we are at in terms of like our state. Cody and I have been able to go shopping a couple of times now. Like we've been able to go to Walmart and Target and all that. We went to Hobby Lobby on my birthday, which was over a month ago, and we haven't gone yet since they're at full capacity, but this weekend we are going to be going shopping with my sister and finally going to Sam's Club, because I signed up for Sam's Club like beginning of May and I still haven't gone to get my card, so I need to go get that. I'm really excited for things to start going back to normal. I work at a nursing home, so I was able to continue working throughout the pandemic. I took 2 weeks off when I had COVID, which I'll get to in a second, but we are still having to wear face masks and face shields, and we're still having to, I need like a better mirror, like I can't be using the viewfinder here. We still have to wear face masks and face shields. We're still being screened every day, so every day when I go into work, I can't just like walk through the door. I have to wait for someone to come let me in, and then they take my temperature and they ask me like my symptoms, if I have any symptoms and whatnot, all of that jazz. And then we're able to go to work. And we also, once we are at work, we're not allowed to leave the campus. Like let's say at lunchtime we wanted to go get like Chick-fil-A or something, we're not allowed to do that. Once we're at work, we kind of have to stay at work. We can go outside for like smoke breaks and stuff, which I don't do, but sometimes I do take my lunch break in my car depending on what the weather's like outside, if it's a nice day or something. But yeah, we are pretty still strict about that. The residents weren't able to have visitors for a very long time. They had to, basically when they got visitors, they had to just talk on the phone and then like look at each other through the window. Now we are allowing them to have visitors, but it has to be outside. They have to like stay 6 feet apart, and then the resident and the visitor has to both be wearing a mask. So that is a good sign. Hopefully that means we're on the up and up and can kind of go back to normal work-wise, because not only is it sad for the residents, but like for us, like we just have a lot of restrictions, like not being able to leave campus. We can't even go out the back door, which is actually what I used to come in and out of because the kitchen's in the back of the building. We can only go in and out of the front door. The only time we can go out the back door is like to take out the trash and all that. And yeah, it's been pretty crazy these past couple of months, and it's still one of those things that like we're like on our way out. Like I know that we're all on the up and up and we're like about to be out of this pandemic, but at the same time I still can't believe that it's even happening. Like you still think about what's going on right now and you just keep thinking like this isn't, this can't be real almost. You know what I mean? Like you're still thinking about the fact that like you're experiencing this. And like me, I said in my last Get Ready With Me, I never thought that this was something I would ever experience in my entire life. I never thought I would live through a pandemic or live through this like crazy time of a deadly virus and all of that. But I did. And I actually had my own experience having COVID, which I'll talk to you about right now. So it was the 2nd or 3rd of May. I had the weekend off and I went to go get tested for COVID. And the reason of that being was because that week before, I kept having like really mild allergy symptoms. Like I had like a runny nose, sinus headaches here and there, sneezing a lot, and no fever. Never had a fever the whole time. But Thursday night, the Thursday before the weekend I got tested, that Thursday night, I was fine all day. I even went to work, went home, had dinner, and it was actually that night I went to go eat butterscotch pudding that I had made, and I'm eating it and I'm like, this has no flavor. Like, I'm like, this really has no flavor whatsoever. And the only reason why I had known that the loss of taste and smell were a symptom was because a nurse at my nursing home actually got COVID, and that was one of her only symptoms. So immediately my mind kind of went to that because I'm just that kind of person. I do kind of have like hypochondria in a way where I assume the worst at all times. And so I immediately had it in my brain like, what if I'm losing my taste right now? So I had Cody taste it, and he said, yeah, it's not really flavorful, but I can still taste it. And I was like, I can't taste a flavor at all. And then I tried smelling it, and I'm like, I can't smell this. But I was like, maybe it doesn't have a smell. So I got up, I went around the house, and I would pick up candles and all that, and I would smell them. And then I would give them to Cody. I'm like, can you smell this? And he smells it. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, I can't smell it. Like, I couldn't smell or taste anything. It was like when I was eating that pudding, I could tell it was sweet. I could taste the sweetness of it, but there was no flavor to it. So I did actually go to work the next day, which was probably not smart of me. But at the time, I thought to myself, like, even though it was in the back of my mind that, you know, I was freaking out thinking I had it, I was still also thinking that I was just being dramatic and that it was probably nothing. So I did go to work the next day, and I kept quiet about it. I wore my mask, made sure I wore my mask all day, made sure I wore gloves all day, just making sure to do all the precautions that we were supposed to be doing anyways. And I still didn't taste or smell all day, and then I went home, was still freaking out about it, and I kept saying, you know what, if this is still going on by Sunday, I want to get tested. Well, I actually got tested Saturday because the next morning I got up before Cody, and I was just sitting in the living room by myself, and I just kept having that like gut feeling like I feel like I should go see a doctor or something. So I tried calling the walk-in clinic in town. They basically like kind of, I don't know, basically they just kind of like blew me off, like didn't even help me in any way. So then I looked it up, and through the hospital that is like the same affiliate as the nursing home, there was like a special hotline to call if you were a healthcare worker. So I called it, and when the woman answered the phone, I had said, I haven't had my taste or smell in a few days, and I'm sure it's nothing because I don't have any other symptoms, but I'm just starting to get freaked out. And immediately she was like, okay, I'm going to put you online with this person. We're going to like take your information and all of that. So she put me through, and basically it was like, you know how like at the doctor you go in and they give you paperwork to fill out? Basically that's what I was doing. I was telling her all the information to her to put in on my chart. Then they told me where to go, and when I needed to be there, and they said they wanted me to go get assessed. So I went, and at the time in my state, I don't know if things are different now because the tests are more accessible. It used to be that you had to be like a special case to actually get tested. Like a lot of the times the doctors would tell you, nah, you don't need to get tested. Like it was like a special circumstance for you to get tested because they weren't available at the time. And so I went to the tent, and I was the only person there. Ooh, I'm gonna try to lean in so you guys can see my eye better. And I did make Cody go with me, which I kept being like, maybe I'm not supposed to go alone, but I knew that I probably would have just not gone if Cody hadn't gone with me, because that's just the kind of person I am. I hate going to places alone. I don't even like to go grocery shopping alone. I make him go with me. I don't know why. That's just been something that's been actually recent, because I used to live alone and that stuff didn't bother me, but now living with him and being with him, it's like I don't want to go anywhere alone. I don't know. Do you guys ever, did you guys experience that when you guys like went from being single to like in a serious relationship? Because I just feel like I don't want to, it's like I'm too scared to go places alone. I make him go with me. So I did have him go with me, and basically it's like this big tent, and it's like a drive-through. You drive in, you stay in your car, you shut your car off, and they come to your window, and they ask me a few questions, and the woman just basically said, like, because you are a healthcare worker and you're having the loss of taste and smell, I can put you through to get tested right now. So I said, yeah, like, let's do it, because obviously, like, I was thinking the worst, and I was thinking I had it. I obviously was going to say yes. So they did test me, and just to give like a brief like explanation of the test is like this little tiny Q-tip that's on this like really long stick. It almost, like, the stick is so thin it almost looks like fishing wire, and they have to put it way up in your nose, like way up like in here, and hold it for 3 seconds, and then they pull it out. She told me to stay still, to try not to sneeze or cough on her. I made sure to stay still and stay calm. She told me it wasn't painful, that was just annoying. Well, it was painful. Basically what it feels like is you know when you go swimming and you get water up your nose and it has that like stinging feeling? It's like that times 10 is what this felt like. And so she got the test, put it in, and they sent me on my way. So I knew that I probably shouldn't have gone anywhere, but we did decide to stop at Walgreens real quick before we went home to get a few things, just in case we're gonna be stuck in the house. And lo and behold, that afternoon, I got the call from the doctor that was on call to, you know, like, I don't know how to explain it because it wasn't my doctor. I actually don't have a doctor, but a doctor called me and said, you know, like, I have your test results, and they are positive. So my gut feeling that whole time was right, and I was COVID positive. She said that because I had such a mild case, to at least quarantine myself for at least 7 days, but I have to be symptom free for 3 days. And she said, do you have like the ability to like kind of isolate yourself? And I said, well, I do live with my boyfriend, so it's a little bit difficult. And she said, well, because he lives with you, he needs to now quarantine for 14 days. Now, mind you, like, little side note, Cody was just about to be off his quarantine. that he was already on because his aunt had tested positive and he was around his aunt like right before she got tested, because his grandmother died and he went down to like see his family when that happened. So he was literally about to be like, that day would have been his end day to like be off quarantine, and he had to now do another 2 weeks of quarantine. So I called my boss at home, mind you, because it was a weekend, so she had off. I felt really bad, but I told her what the test result was, and basically I told her like, this is how long I'll probably be out for. And that's, besides my family, that was the only people I told, because I didn't really want it going around right away. I like made sure to, like, my mom and my sister were the two people I called immediately, and I was bawling my eyes out. Not because basically I just felt sad that it was happening. Like, I felt sad that it was a positive test result, because like, even though like part of me really did, like, I knew I had it the minute I lost my taste, it was still like one of those things I kept telling myself, like, you are just being crazy, it's not positive, hopefully you'll get the negative test result. And then lo and behold, they're calling me saying it's positive. So luckily I actually had a mild case of COVID, because those were really my only symptoms besides some mild allergy symptoms. In a few days I had shortness of breath. But I was pretty much all better within a week and a half. So I actually only took 2 full weeks off of work, which actually ended up being kind of like a mini stay-at-home vacation for me, because of the fact my illness was not like major at all. Like, I was able to do stuff, and that was really great. It actually gave me a break from work and all of that. It was an unfortunate circumstance, but by the time my 2 weeks were coming to an end, like, I was like, I don't want to go back. Like, it was actually a really nice break. So the next day is actually when I posted on Facebook saying that I had COVID, because I said I wanted to say it before any news articles came out, because the nurse that had got tested positive at my nursing home, there was actually an article about her that getting it, and I was worried I would get an article about me, so I just wanted to kind of put it out there and tell people before an article told people. And the response was actually so supportive and nice. Like, all my Facebook friends, I basically only have family on my Facebook, like distant family, and like, I got a card from my aunt and uncle with just like a little bit of cash to help. And my mom sent me flowers. I think one of the days, I'm gonna start crying now, and I just finished my eyeshadow. My mom sent me flowers the next day. I just realized I had to go get a liquid liner, but I'll finish this part of the story first. My mom gave me flowers, and I think she sent me money too, I don't remember. And like, my brother dropped off this like really nice gift basket full of stuff to kind of like cheer me up. It was like a bunch of snacks and like friends' pajamas, and they got Cody stuff, and it was just like, it was so touching, the amount of love that Cody and I got knowing when I got it. In fact, one of my coworkers even like ordered pizza and had it delivered to our house. Like, so many people like were so supportive and like so generous in that time. I mean, Cody's grandparents went grocery shopping and bought us like big packs of stuff from Sam's Club, and his brother went grocery shopping for us. And our church at the time, we don't go there anymore, which is another story that will be in here, even gave us like a little like care package, if you will. And it was just really heartwarming, because that first week, you guys, like, even though I wasn't totally sick, I was like, the first few days I was crying off and on like all day, because I just kept saying like, I can't believe that this is real, I can't believe I have it, I can't believe like I felt like I was like letting people down almost, like, because I felt like I was letting my work down because I now had to be out for 2 weeks, and I knew that that was putting them in a difficult position. I knew that, like, I felt bad for Cody because he had to be in quarantine for 2 weeks and he had just finished. So, like, Cody did a full month of quarantine. And it was just, like, really, I don't know, I just, like, kept feeling sad about it. I kept feeling emotional about it. But yeah, I took 2 weeks off from work and I was better within a week and a half. My boss wanted me to go back earlier, but I told her I needed to do the full 2 weeks because I still hadn't my taste and smell back. I got my taste and smell back fully, I would say, I don't even know if I fully had it back when I went to work, but I had it like at least 90% back. So I did go to work after 2 full weeks of being off, and yeah, that's it. But honestly, like, as someone who I'm a I don't wear masks in public anymore for a few reasons that I won't get into because I don't really want to get shit on. But I am a believer that they can work because my coworkers, we all wore face masks and face shields, and because were having those allergy symptoms, I am a firm believer that I had COVID for that entire week before I got tested, and no one else caught it at my work. Like, I was the only person that had it besides the nurse, but she was better and back to work by the time I was even tested. I was the only person in the kitchen that had it. So it's like proof that those face masks and face shields, they're a pain in the ass to wear. I like can't wait for the day they tell us we don't have to wear them anymore, but they do work because me and my coworker, we work so closely side by side and she didn't get it. So yeah, that was the story of me getting COVID. I need to go get eyeliner and then I'll talk about a few other things. So COVID really did kind of like affect us more than we honestly thought we would. Like, I honestly didn't think I would get it. Like, I kept saying like, yeah, I probably won't get it, and I end up getting it. And to be honest, way back when it was coming on the news about like China having coronavirus and all that, I even just kept saying like, yeah, but it's probably not going to come to the US. Well, lo and behold, like, we're in a pandemic. So yeah, it definitely affected Cody and I more than we thought it would. You know, my side of my family, like oh, I got eyeliner on my lashes. I hate it when I do that. My family none of them got it. But Cody's family, actually, like, a good chunk of them had it. It started with his aunt had it, and his aunt was the one that actually like took care of his grandmother. So I don't know if maybe the grandmother had it and that's why she died. They think she died. They don't think that's why she died. I'm just saying I've wondered if that's how she died. Because even though she was like very old, she was 94. It was like all of a sudden they said, "Oh, Graham's not doing good," and then like she literally died the day after Cody's dad like told him that she's not doing well. So his aunt had it, and then Cody's dad caught it, and he was actually in the hospital with like severe dehydration from it. And so Cody's dad had it, and I know that that looks like, it's just that the liner's shiny right now, but I promise that there is liner there. I didn't like miss a spot. Cody's mom had it, but she wasn't tested, but basically the doctor said she had it. So both of Cody's parents had it. I'm gonna be real, I think Cody had it, and that's actually how I think that's how I got it, because right after we found out his aunt had it, like that first week, there were nights where Cody had like severe chills, and like there were mornings that he would go out and start my car for me. He'd come back in and he'd like, it was like he had just ran a marathon or something. He like was so out of breath, like more than like usual. And there was just so many like symptoms that I honestly think he had it, and that's how I got it. But that's not me trying to blame things, blame anybody, because it's such like an annoying question getting asked all the time, how I thought I caught COVID, because it's like I could have gotten it anywhere. Like, I could have gotten it at work, I could have gotten it at the grocery store. You don't know. But yeah, I think Cody had it, and his parents actually lost 2 of their friends from COVID, like really close together. I think within like a 2-week span, both of their best friends died. His parents actually lost 3 people since April. Between his grandmother and their 2 friends, they lost 3 people in just a short amount of time, which is just heartbreaking in itself. But that is one of the reasons why we decided to leave our church. And you know, the decision to leave the church was kind of a difficult one in a sense. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I never liked the church. I went because Cody was a youth pastor there, and let me just preface this again by just reminding everybody that I was not a religious person before meeting Cody. I didn't go to church. In fact, a lot of the times I wouldn't say I like didn't believe, but I believe in a lot of stuff that the Bible doesn't. Like, I am a firm believer in LGBT rights. I am a firm supporter of pro-choice, and those are just some things that aren't in the Bible. And so a lot of the times I never went to church because of that. And I met Cody, and he was a youth pastor, and I kind of found that out after we had already been talking, and he had asked me if it bothered me, and I said no, because it really didn't. And I tried going to church for him, and I kept going because we were dating, and I wanted to be a support system for him. But I did not like the church, and I did not like the pastor from day one, because she, A, is a firm believer against the things I believe. In fact, there was someone that went to church who was transgender, and she talked badly about them a lot, and that's just not a good thing for me. And not only that, but just the way she would speak to Cody would make my blood boil, because Cody did a lot of his work for very little money. They only paid Cody $50 a month on a prepaid Visa card, and so he didn't even make money off of the amount of work he did for them. He worked there every single day. He worked there Tuesday through Saturday, and then he had church Sunday. So when we started dating, his only like free day was Mondays. And he did that for $50 a month. So he literally was really doing it for free. And the way she would speak to him would make my blood boil, because she was mean to him and would criticize him and just be downright just rude to him and treat him like as if she was doing him a favor, when in fact he was pretty much dedicating his entire life to her in the church for no like reward, if that makes sense. So I had been wanting to leave the church for a while, and there were a few times Cody wanted to leave in the year that we were dating, and I just want to point out, I know I look crazy, I'm about to put bronzer on. I just want to point out, I did not once ask Cody to leave the church, because I knew that that would have been unfair to me to come into his life and try to make him stop the things he was doing before he met me. I knew that that wouldn't have been fair, so I never once asked him to like stop going. I actually did the opposite and said I went and I gave it a chance all the time, and I kept giving the pastor a chance. I'm getting fired up about this because this is something that's like been really heavy on my heart, and I haven't been able to really talk about it like fully, but now I just really can't give a shit anymore, and I just want to talk about it. So Cody had been wanting to leave like a few times. Like, there was at least twice in the year and a half we've been dating that he wanted to leave, and we even talked about it. We talked about how he could leave and blah blah blah, He had a lot of fights with his mom about it because his mom didn't agree with him leaving. So he kept giving it a chance because he said, you know what, it's not even about the pastor, I just don't want to leave those kids. And I did agree with him on that. So we kept going until the pandemic started. And first of all, they at first were not going to follow the rules about like not being able to have church and all that. They were going to continue to have church because they said that church was a necessity, and I don't want to get into a debate about that because you believe what you believe and I'll believe what I believe. How's that? And they basically were literally saying, I remember we went, the last time I was at that church, we went to a prayer night. We decided to just go as one last thing, because it was going to be the last prayer night before this whole shutdown was going to happen. And we went, and they were literally saying, well, if we keep going to church and we get the coronavirus and we all die, it's going to be fine because we'll be in heaven with Jesus, and that really wouldn't be so bad. Well, I'm going to put in my 2 cents here. As someone who didn't believe before, but is like trying so hard to like put my feet in and actually do believe and actually like give it a fair shot because of my boyfriend, because he is going to be like someone I spend my life with. So like I want to be the most supportive person for him. But even if like I was the hardcore believer, I'm still not ready to die yet. Like I'm 27, I was 26 at the time, but I was like, but I still have my whole life ahead of me, so I don't really want to die right now. So we actually left pretty frustrated, and I want to say it was either that night or the next night. The pastor had mentioned like still keep doing Bible study, still keep doing this, still keep doing that. And Cody was doing men's Bible study in youth group at the time, and he came right out and said, I am choosing to stay home during the pandemic. I have already set up to do men's Bible study and youth group online. And one of the men in his group kind of stepped in and said, well, I think we should do it in person because it's a necessity, and not a whole lot of people do it anyways. And of course him and the pastor were like all like, oh yeah, we need to do it. And Cody just kind of downright said, I am choosing to stay home because not only do I not want to get it, but I don't want my girlfriend to get it because she works in a nursing home. So if the men want to study without me in person, then so be it, but that is my choice. And basically the pastor replaced him right then and there. And she did tell him to keep doing youth group online, which he did for a little bit, but the kids just like weren't watching the videos, and they were doing kid stuff. Like they weren't taking the time to really like get on to do it. Yeah, that was like one of the like reasons that we were like, I just don't think we can go back. And I even said to him, I said, if you choose to go back, then I will support that, but I myself will probably not go back to that church. And the reason I didn't want to after that, like, just put aside the fact I just didn't really like the pastor and didn't like the church, but because I was insulted for Cody, because Cody had been there for like 6 years, and just like, he just says he's staying home once and they just replace him like that, like as if he had never done anything for the church or something, or he wasn't valuable. And that pissed me off because he had literally given up like his entire life for that church. Like there were so many times that like I wanted to do stuff, or like his parents wanted to do stuff, and he would say, I can't, I have to be at church, or I can't, the pastor needs me for this. So it pissed me off for him. I cared more about it than he did. Like, he wasn't that insulted at first, but like now he kind of like is rethinking the whole thing, and he's like, you know what, I am mad about it. So the final like tipping point where we were like, you know what, wipe our hands clean, we're done. Because when they sent that like little care package, we honestly did have like kind of second thoughts about leaving. So like, clearly they are nice people and all that, and I'm not trying to say no one in that church is good. Like, there are so many people that went to that church that I thought were very nice, and I really liked them, and I loved like seeing them every week and giving them a hug and all that. Like, there were people there I truly still care about to this day. But it's just the fact that I just couldn't support the pastor anymore. Like, that's what it boils down to. And they're like the head honcho, you know? Like, you can't just like go to a church and not like the pastor. So I couldn't do it anymore. So the final point where Heath decided I ain't doing this anymore was when this was all going on between his parents, me getting it and all that, the pastor never once checked in on him, like, at all. Like, didn't check on him once or anything. Like, didn't check in, didn't message him, did anything. If she talked to him, it was because he messaged her first. And I think the biggest point was that there ended up being some sort of Facebook fight between the pastor and his brother, and it was just the way that she was talking to his brother, and also like she ended up just like deleting his dad just out of the blue when his dad didn't do anything, and it was like this whole drama thing on Facebook. And that was just the tipping point, because Cody's like, I can't do this if this is the way she treats my family. So I couldn't tell you if he actually told him he's not like going back, but we pretty much have made it known that we're not going back. He did tell the kids, and he did tell his men's group, so I think the pastor kind of just probably found out through that way, because we have no desire to ever kind of speak to her or see her or have any sort of conversation with her, because of the way she acted and the way that she treated Cody and his family. Because it wasn't just that, but she was like basically acting as if this whole pandemic was fake. She acted as if this was all planned, and that, oh, coronavirus isn't real. Well, we are living facts that it is a real thing, because we all got it, and like, we couldn't just stand by that anymore. We just felt so angry about it. So now we are in the position where we are looking for a new church. We did go to his place, his parents' church, the first week that, you know, the state could go back to church, and I did like it. And then the next weekend he went again with his grandparents, because the problem is I only have every other weekend off, so I can only go to church every other Sunday. And the next time I had a Sunday off, we actually were moving Cody in. He is pretty much fully moved in here. We just had to go clean up his place. And so we didn't have time that weekend to go. And then he went to his grandparents' church, which is a lot closer to us than his parents' church. He went with his grandparents to their church this past Sunday, and he said it was okay. He said it was a little bit too by the book for him. I kind of expressed to him this morning that if I go back to church, I want to find a church who is in support of like gay rights and all those things I believe in, because I just can't go through another church where I'm just going there every week and getting pissed off because I'm hearing all these things and I just want to like yell at them, basically. And I do know that those churches exist because I actually have cousins who are lesbians who are married, and they raise these two beautiful young girls who are so beautiful, these two little babies, and they do go to a church who support them and accepts them, and they actually do so much for their church. And so they actually don't live that far away, so I might actually see if we could just start going to that church, or just go there like once or something. So, but yeah, that's basically in a gist what COVID and the pandemic was like for us. Obviously, there are a lot more things going on in this world, and it's really hard for me to talk about those things because of the fact that I don't know, it's like I'm worried that no matter what I say, I'll say the wrong thing. And I do understand, like, it's my privilege to not have to really, like, speak or fight for that stuff. But it's one of those things, and this is just what I'll say for anyone who is watching, that, you know, what is going on, like, with the Black Lives Matter and all that, if what is going on is strongly affecting you. There's this quote that was going around Instagram, and it just, I can't remember fully. I'll try to, like, put the full quote below, and it's really simple. It just says, like, I know that I can't ever fully understand, but yet know that I do stand. So even though, like, I'm not talking about it, I'm not shouting from the rooftops, because you guys know me, I would just never be that kind of person. Just know that I am here, and I stand with you, and I support you. And just know that you can always come to me if you guys ever need to talk about stuff and all of that. My Instagram is always down below. Send me a message there and we can talk. So yeah, I forgot to bring my brow stuff in, but just because I cannot just delay this video anymore, I'm going to just do them off camera and end this video here. As you guys know, I don't use lip colors, so this is just lip balm. I have thought about, like, dabbling in, like, lip glosses, like, but we'll see. So yeah, so this is what the finished look ended up coming out as. It wasn't exactly what I was picturing when I sat down, but I actually think it looks really pretty with the blue. And yeah, so I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, and, like, hearing me talk about, like, everything, like, finally, like, getting it off my chest and all that. So if you guys want to see more videos like this, I do hope to do more get ready with me's in the future, not just, like, for video purposes, but I just don't play with makeup as much as I used to, and I'd really like to get back into that. So if you guys want to see more get ready with me's and more, like, sit down chatty ones like I did today, please give this a thumbs up and let me know down below what topic you would like me to discuss next. And if you are not subscribed to my channel, then please do. You can just go ahead and click that little red thing, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.